Good evening. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Andrew is away. Tonight, a state of emergency and more restrictions as COVID cases soar.
We are battling a new variant and moving backwards, unfortunately.
Booster frustration.
We try to get the shot and there's no shot.
Testing sites overwhelmed, rapid tests running out.
Frustrated, disappointed, cheated.
Is the scramble to slow Omicron too little, too late? From tests to boosters, some pharmacists are doing it all.
There's no other way to put it right now. We are just burnt out.
The building pressure pushing pharmacies to their limits. Out of the Olympics.
Winning a gold medal, and that's something that, probably won't have a chance to do now.
Reports NHL players will skip the Beijing Games. The great Christmas tree debate, real or fake?
Big puffy ones and nice tall ones.
But which one is better for the environment? The answer may surprise you. This is The National. A pandemic response takes time, and tonight it's clear Canada has run out of time. In a shockingly short period, this has become the country's biggest wave of COVID yet. Omicron was declared a variant of concern just 25 days ago. 3 weeks ago, Canada began ramping up arrival testing of air travelers. 2 weeks ago, provinces started expanding booster eligibility. And the first new restrictions to limit contacts came just a week ago. And in the days since, Canada's average daily new cases have doubled, hitting levels never before seen in the pandemic. So suddenly, we have gone from talk of slowing the surge to struggling even to accurately see it. Testing is being overwhelmed, provinces rushing to boost and bring back time-tested measures. But the country is already in uncharted territory. Ontario and Quebec are together responsible for about 75% of the country's cases now. Marina von Stackelberg shows us two provinces with different responses to the same daunting challenge: Omicron out of control.
At a COVID-19 testing center in Montreal, more long lines.
I got some symptoms, and like in Montreal, it's a big area, so it gets pretty risky. So we just wanted to make sure that we didn't have any COVID or anything.
Quebec has broken another record, more than 5,000 new cases. It comes the day after the province shut down schools, bars, gyms, and movie theaters. Montreal's mayor, who has COVID herself, has now declared a state of emergency.
We will be able to purchase protective and screening equipment for essential workers.
With few new restrictions, the focus in Ontario is on boosters.
Just a few weeks ago, we were at 30,000. Then we accelerated to 60,000 doses a day. And I'm happy to say that over 206,000 doses were administered yesterday.
If you haven't taken any shots, get your first, get your second, or get your booster.
Ontario's premier got his vaccine in a photo op. But many in his province have been less successful. Hundreds hoping for a booster on board a Toronto Go bus left without a shot.
I just think it's completely ridiculous, that we have to go through this kind of craziness, because they're pushing everyone to get the shot, and then we try to get the shot and there's no shot.
In Ottawa, they lined up for free rapid test kits. They left with wristbands, told to come back later when the shipment showed up.
Sorry about that.
I am not surprised, but I'm actually really saddened that we're in this situation.
Everyone's going to be exposed in a matter of weeks unless it is slowed by policy.
This epidemiologist says while it might be hard to convince the public to go along with a lockdown, Ontario's current plan isn't working.
Before this, I was saying that Delta was likely the most contagious respiratory virus we've seen in modern times. Omicron leaves it in the dust.
So, Marina, any signal from officials about where this is going? I mean, for example, more restrictions in Ontario?
Well, we haven't heard that sort of indication from the Ontario government, but obviously the situation is moving very quickly. The Premier of Quebec has made some sounds that there could be more restrictions coming there. His Minister of Public Safety today requested that Ottawa send military help to deal with vaccine distribution. Adrienne?
All right. Thank you, Marina. Marina von Stackelberg in Toronto tonight. So it's not just the sheer scale of transmission that's pretty shocking. It's how fast it's rising all over the country. BC's average daily new cases are up 113% from just a week ago. Alberta's rate has jumped 98%, Manitoba up 48%, Ontario and Quebec both up well over 100%. In most of Atlantic Canada, case numbers are still relatively modest, but Nova Scotia is now seeing hundreds a day, surging nearly 600% in the last week. Per capita, it is the second worst hotspot in the country after Quebec. Lindsay Duncombe tracks how the provinces are moving into action, the response evolving, uneven, and leaving Canadians uncertain.
Across the country, plans are changing.
We had a couple of Christmas parties that we were supposed to go to yesterday and today, and we've decided not to go.
It sucks. Like I got jabbed twice, and now we can't go back to normal. I mean, I'll get the third one if we can go back to normal, but...
Restrictions put in place in British Columbia just last Friday, not tough enough for Omicron.
And we're also seeing what we call explosive outbreaks, which have to do with larger numbers of people being exposed at the same time.
Starting tomorrow midnight, nightclubs and bars must close. Gyms shut down. Scheduled surgeries will be postponed after New Year's. All indoor events, including weddings and funerals, canceled. The limit on personal gatherings, 10 people only, stays the same with this warning.
To keep those numbers as small as possible.
Vancouver's Convention Centre will once again become a mass vaccination site for boosters. People still need to wait 6 months since their second dose. Alberta reduced that timeline to 5 months today and opened boosters for anyone over 18.
And we are going to move heaven and earth to get as many booster shots to Albertans as possible.
After relaxing restrictions last week, the province reduced capacity at large events and asked Albertans to cut their contacts in half. PEI joined Newfoundland and Labrador in making all incoming travelers self-isolate. In Nova Scotia, where daily new cases have broken records for 6 days straight, the Premier asked people only to get tested if they have symptoms.
We're asking a lot of Nova Scotians. We're sorry to do that. I'm sorry to have to do that.
With the situation changing so quickly, the reality is the same right across the country. In order to stay safe, Canadians need to be flexible. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Vancouver.
So that strain on testing isn't just happening in Nova Scotia. Demand for PCR tests is outpacing availability in many more places too. And as Vicadopia explains, that is muddying the whole pandemic picture tonight.
With Omicron spreading, the holidays approaching, and appointments booking up, people are heading to the few walk-in testing sites like this one, though some already know they'll test positive.
Those plans are canceled for Christmas this year. Staying home, yeah. I already did a rapid test, so this is just to confirm it.
PCR tests are considered the gold standard for detecting a coronavirus infection, but the wait for appointments and test results is getting longer.
We're not at our full capacity yet, but we want to keep some of it for outbreak management and long-term care facilities, etc.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
That's why people are scooping up take-home rapid antigen tests, and supplies are running out. Some local health units are using them as an alternative to PCR tests. The rest of Ontario may follow.
Even when it's not the gold standard, if it's positive, take it seriously, act just like you would if you got a positive PCR test, isolate, notify others, and of course, monitor your own symptoms.
But for those who get a positive result on a rapid test,
the struggle has really been to get a PCR result, which Toronto Public Health says you should get within 48 hours. But trying to do that has been next to impossible.
With more people expected to rely on take-home tests and the Omicron variant spreading so quickly, experts say accurate case counts no longer seem possible. But at this stage, that may not be a priority.
If you can enable people to do this themselves at home, that's a huge win.
Still, to know for sure, some are willing to wait. Vicadopia, CBC News, Toronto.
So let's talk a little bit more about the delays with these really important PCR tests. Dr. Zain Chagla joins us now. Dr. Chagla, what kind of rethink do you think we should be doing about who gets these tests and when?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if we had, unlimited tests, we'd give them to everyone. But the reality is we have to identify people who are at the highest risk of transmitting into vulnerable people or those vulnerable people themselves. And so looking at symptomatic people above a particular age with particular medical conditions, and looking at people who work in sectors with those individuals. So those who work in healthcare and long-term care and other vulnerable sectors, getting their tests as a priority. And, less focus on asymptomatic contacts where, they may not need the testing and can isolate without necessarily changing public health behavior.
And, interestingly, too, we've heard you say that we can no longer use case counts as a way of determining where we are in the pandemic. I'm curious as to why that is and what we should be looking at instead.
Yeah, I mean, if we're rationing PCR tests, then, again, you can't use case counts because not everyone is coming forward to get tested. And so you don't have a great guide of what's going on in your community. Hospitalizations are not a bad measure. But again, as the numbers increase, the number of people in hospital with COVID, not because of COVID, is also going to increase. And so I think we look at ICUs, we look at hospitalizations where they need oxygen. And those are going to probably be the guide of what's going on in our community and what this impacts on our healthcare system.
Okay, Dr. Chagla, thanks very much. Stick around. We have some more questions for you. The viewers have some questions for you. And I know you'll be joined by Dr. Lenore Saxinger in a few minutes' time. Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, whether it is performing or distributing COVID-19 tests or giving vaccine shots, Canadian pharmacies are doing a lot of heavy lifting. Strategy differs from province to province, but they do have one thing in common. That is the added strain of helping contain COVID on top of everything else they have to do. Jacqueline Hansen shows us the toll that is taking.
Since COVID-19 hit, pharmacists like Kiro Mase have stepped up.
I feel privileged to help.
But the latest rush to open up boosters for such a wide age range is overwhelming.
Not once since the start of the pandemic did you have such a sudden expansion of eligibility. It hasn't happened.
Run off their feet, the team has turned off their phones as requests flood in through emails, even social media. Last week, Premier Doug Ford may have added to that influx.
Call the pharmacies, book that appointment now.
Even saying pharmacies could provide boosters for 18 plus starting last Friday as walk-ins.
The word walk-ins created a bit of chaos in the sense that people started to flood pharmacies.
It's not just big cities being overwhelmed.
I can't believe how long this is.
In the small lake town of Southampton, a pharmacy team tried to get ahead of the rush with a 1,000-dose drive-through on Sunday.
And the booster pandemonium is more than it was even in the summer.
But the demand is taking a toll.
We are burnt out. There's no other way to put it right now. We are just burnt out.
From boosters to tests, the workload on pharmacies is heavier than ever. And while giving a shot is quick, the paperwork required takes hours.
I could do 200 in a day in my small pharmacy. That could be easily 275, 300 if I didn't have all the administrative hurdles.
In Ontario, staffing is such a challenge, students and interns are being called in to help. A lesson for other provincial governments as they ramp up their booster rollouts.
The advanced knowledge is really, really key, and giving pharmacies the heads up of what to expect.
And the lesson for Canadians, be patient.
This guy's doing his best in very difficult circumstances.
Circumstances that could get worse before they get better. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
In the United States, it has been just 20 days since the first case of Omicron was discovered, but it's now dominant and pushing case numbers up. So last week, Omicron accounted for over 70% of cases. That's a considerable jump from the week before when the variant was detected in just over 12% of cases. As Katie Nicholson reports, people are desperate to get tested. We recognize that, and President Biden is trying to make that happen quickly.
Valeria Santana waits outside a posh private DC testing site.
I had to come all the way from Virginia because they didn't have any appointments for today or tomorrow.
She didn't just have to cross state lines for a test, she also had to fork out $250. Worth it, she says.
If I get tested before seeing my family and they're going to be okay, then I'm okay doing it.
Across the country, home rapid tests sold out in stores and online. And in New York, long, angry lines full of people waiting for a COVID swab.
We don't want to be standing in line when it's 30 degrees outside, waiting for a test.
To make it easier, President Biden now making 500 million rapid home testing kits free to whoever wants them.
That's not million, billion with a B.
Biden also promising COVID hotspots like New York will get emergency testing sites before Christmas. All while pushing the unvaccinated to finally get their shots, and for everyone else to get boosters.
And I honest to God believe it's your patriotic duty.
On the booster front, Biden has a surprising ally in the former president, who holds sway over many in red states.
Did you get the booster?
Yes.
I got it too. Okay, so... Don't.
Driving all of this, the fear that COVID will once again crush hospitals.
Our hospitals are hemorrhaging at the moment. You know, there might be beds, there might be ventilators for those who are in need of it, but our nurses, they're dropping like flies.
And Biden made promises to address that too today, pledging military support for hospitals in January and February when this Omicron wave could crest. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Washington.
Overseas, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson says no new restrictions will be brought in for England this week, despite a record number of infections.
People can go ahead with their Christmas plans, but the situation remains finely balanced, and I would urge everyone to exercise caution.
Johnson stressed that new health measures could still be introduced after December 25th, but with Omicron surging across Europe, other nations have already introduced new measures. So, working from home made mandatory in Portugal, while bars and clubs will shut their doors starting Saturday night. In Germany, there is now a 10-person limit to private gatherings. Spectators are banned from big events like soccer games. And Sweden is forcing shops to implement a customer limit while also limiting service to seated guests at bars and restaurants. And then there's Israel, which is set to begin rolling out a 4th dose of the coronavirus vaccine as fears over Omicron continue to grow. The shots will be made available to those over 60, medical workers, and people with compromised immune systems. COVID may have just ruined some NHL players' Olympic dreams. There are reports tonight that the league is pulling out of February's games in Beijing. Cameron McIntosh with the reasons and the reaction.
For Canadian hockey fans, it gets the blood pumping. Sidney Crosby's golden goal in 2010. The repeat in 2014. Canada taking gold in best-on-best Olympic hockey with NHL players. But when the puck drops here in China in 7 weeks, it appears NHL players won't be there.
It's disappointing.
Tampa Bay captain Steven Stamkos was in the mix to be on Team Canada, likely his last shot.
Winning a gold medal, and that's something that, probably won't have a chance to do now.
Yeah, that sucks. I think everybody was looking forward to this.
Winnipeg Jets forward Kyle Connor was a lock for Team USA, along with goalie Connor Hellebuck.
It was going to be an awesome opportunity to play, but I guess that's just what we have to deal with.
Forced by COVID to postpone more than 50 games, the NHL and NHLPA reportedly have an agreement to skip Beijing and make up the games over the scheduled Olympic break. In truth, both were looking for an out. League owners were never happy about shutting down for 3 weeks for the Olympics, as the Players Association became nervous over China's quarantine rules and tensions over diplomatic boycotts.
I think that this is a way that everybody can run for cover and avoid a lot of the difficult questions and decisions that have to be made.
The NHL also skipped the 2018 Olympics.
It's a bronze medal win.
Canada won bronze, fielding a team of mostly pros playing in Europe. That's Plan B again. Canada recently sent a prospective Olympic team to the Channel 1 Cup in Moscow as a warm-up. Players like Corbin Knight.
If that responsibility falls to us, I think a lot of guys will be very excited to have the opportunity.
Final rosters will be selected next month. Meanwhile, the NHL is taking a break until after Christmas, trying to get its COVID numbers down. Cameron McIntosh, CBC News, Winnipeg.
As COVID cases hit new highs in this country, you're sending us new questions.
What is the latest that we know about how severe or how mild Omicron is?
How long will it take before we know if we need to shut down?
I'm wondering if I should stay with Moderna or consider Pfizer as an alternative.
The doctors are next with their insight. Plus, the plan to build North America's first whale sanctuary off the coast of Nova Scotia.
Your passion for this is very clear. Is it feasible?
Why would it not be feasible?
And what's the best choice for a Christmas tree, real or fake?
It's a little bit better for the environment.
You're running out of time, but we'll tell you which one he's talking about. The National is back in 2. So as the Omicron variant continues to surge, so obviously do your questions. Let's get you some answers. Joining me now, Dr. Lenore Saxinger, Dr. Zain Chagla. Thank you both for being here. We have a few viewer questions to get to, so why don't we start with those and with Tony.
Hi, my question is about the mix and match vaccine process that we started out with. My first dose was AstraZeneca, followed by a second dose of Moderna. Now that I'm eligible for my third booster shot, I'm wondering if I should stay with Moderna or consider Pfizer as an alternative. Thank you.
So, Dr. Saxinger, I mean, I know some people are grateful to get boosters at all, but to Tony's point, do you want to take that on?
Sure. Well, I mean, people who've had AstraZeneca, Pfizer have immunity antibody levels that compare very favorably with double Pfizer. And so we know that the combination of an mRNA with AstraZeneca is very good. We don't have direct data for which booster is best in that scenario, but there was some recent studies out of the UK that showed that basically AstraZeneca is well boosted by pretty much anything. And that the mRNA vaccines, maybe Moderna has an edge over Pfizer. So all that to say, I don't think there's a wrong answer. I don't think that we can say with certainty for any individual. I think either would be fine. Slight favor for me in terms of Moderna, because this individual already has had that and knows the side effect profile.
Okay, and Dr. Chagla, as people wait for the boosters, sometimes struggle to get them, what is happening to their immunity? You know, is there, maybe this is a dumb question, but is there a point at which someone who is double vaxxed is really no longer vastly more protected than an unvaccinated person?
Yeah, so, you know, immunity is incredibly complex. We have different types of cells, T cells, which kind of deal with our severe or hospitalization, the complications of COVID-19, versus antibodies, which are part of the hospitalization piece, but also a part of that, you know, protecting one from getting COVID-19 to begin with. And so there is a weaning of efficacy as time goes on from people from their antibody levels, so more chance of them getting COVID-19. But study after study after study, at least with Delta, shows that people that have had a primary series of vaccine, 2 shots, have significant protection, even 25, even 30 weeks out from their primary shots. And so we can be comfortable that people are not going to revert back to ground zero, that there is some baseline level of immunity that we're even seeing with Omicron in South Africa amongst people that were studied with 2 doses, where they still saw 70% protection against hospitalization.
Okay, and Dr. Chagla, I'll get you to take this next viewer question. It's from Mark.
Hi. What is the latest that we know about how severe or how mild Omicron is, and how effective will a third booster shot be against it? Thank you.
Dr. Chagla, to the last part of that question in particular, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so the severity piece is up in the air, and there's, you know, data from South Africa suggesting less so, but is it immunity? Is it because of immunizations? We're not entirely sure. We do know there's good data from the United Kingdom looking at people that have gotten Omicron, where 2 shots of Pfizer kind of give them 30 to 40% protection, with the booster goes up to 70% to 80%. And similarly, actually, with AstraZeneca, 2 shots of AstraZeneca don't give them much protection, 10 to 20% against symptomatic COVID-19, not against severe. But getting a booster shot gets them back up to 70 to 80%. So good data really suggesting that a booster will offer some benefit against symptomatic COVID-19 and likely offers a benefit against severe COVID-19.
Okay, so Michelle has a question I'm pretty sure is on a lot of minds right now about the possibility of more restriction. Let's have a listen.
As Omicron is a new variant, we know that there's a lot to learn. What have we learned to this point, and how long will it take before we know if we need to shut down?
Dr. Saxinger, maybe that's the magical question. How long before we know if we need to shut down more?
You know, I think that what people are looking at are two things. They're looking at how rapidly the case counts are going up. And Omicron has shown itself to be extremely, extremely transmissible, much more than Delta. And pretty much everywhere that started tracking it is seeing a very similar, incredibly alarming upswing in cases. It's very aggressive. The second part of the question is how severe the infection is. And there we're seeing slightly different signals from different places. Early signs would be that it might not be as severe as Delta was in terms of hospitalization, but you can't really compare that between populations very well. I think that at the moment, a lot of us are looking at this as saying the numbers are going up. We would expect logically that hospitalizations will follow to some degree. How much capacity do we have in our system right now to absorb that and still provide care for people? And I think the answer in a lot of places is the hospitals are already full, trying to catch up from our previous problems over the course of the pandemic. So I think our surge capacity is low and we should plan accordingly.
Okay, here's a question about travel sent into our team at Ask CBC. We are a seniors couple, 66 and 77, both with boosters, traveling in our own vehicle for a 6-week booked vacation in Arizona. Should we go or not? Dr. Saxinger?
No, I try to resist telling people exactly what to do, but if I had relatives telling me they were planning to go to the US right now, I'd probably be advising them against it because there is still a very real risk of a surge that could result in local healthcare changes. So even if you're traveling and you're well protected against COVID-19 and you're very careful, if you had some other health event, you might not be able to access the care you need as easily. And then, of course, there's the whole question about restrictions at the border, et cetera. So while things are changing so quickly and while we're learning so much about Omicron, I would be really suggesting people consider pausing in their plans and kind of see which way things are going over the next little while.
Okay, good caution there. Last question to you, Dr. Chagla. You know, in everything we're learning about the dangers, is there anything we're learning about treatments that gives you hope at all?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've had, monoclonal antibodies. We've been using them. They've been reducing the risk of hospitalization and death amongst people who are qualified for them. We're going to have 2 new antiviral compounds hopefully on the market very soon. The US FDA is going to approve them this week. And we have other medications that are being repurposed, like fluvoxamine, which is an antidepressant, which may have some benefit as well for patients. And so, getting COVID-19 is not just waiting to end up in hospital. It is a lot of steps we can mitigate beforehand. And it really is going to change our way that we live with this disease in the sense that we offer people treatments and we mitigate the severe complications and allow most people to recover at home.
Okay, that sounds a little bit better. Dr. Chagla, Dr. Saxinger, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Ahead tonight, once captive whales could soon find a new home on Canada's east coast.
It's quite an exciting thing to think about that they've picked this little part of the world.
The challenge is ahead for what could be North America's first whale sanctuary. And later, how some time on the ice is helping some newcomers adjust to life in Canada. Welcome back. Over the past few weeks, CBC News has been reporting on intimate partner homicides in this country. In cases like these, the victims are overwhelmingly women, but nearly a fifth are men, many of them Indigenous. Tonight, Wamish Hamilton has the story of a father who says he wished he'd seen the signs in time to save his son. And a warning, this contains some graphic details of violence.
He's quite social and protective of anybody who needed to be protected.
In Gitneyao, a small Indigenous village 90 minutes northeast of Terrace, BC, the values of family and clan kinships are taught from one generation to the next. As a father and clan leader, Dale Good passed on those values to his son Zachary, an outgoing young man with a love for soccer. He never imagined he would lose him to violence in Terrace.
It took a lot out of our family when this happened. I was at work in Kitimat when his sister and her husband came to my room.
On May 16, 2015, Zachary Turner Good was living in the apartment behind me after finally getting away from his abusive girlfriend. On that same day, Isabel Johnny forced her way into the apartment We don't know exactly what happened next, but a few hours later, Zachary Turner Good died at Mills Memorial Hospital from a stab wound to the chest. He was only 25. Much of the historical experience of Indigenous life in Canada has been shaped by pain. A CBC News investigation found Indigenous men are more likely to be the victims of intimate partner homicide than men in any other ethnic group. Of the cases where we know ethnicity, 1 in 3 male victims were Indigenous. In Zachary's case, Dale knew something was wrong with Isabel as soon as he met her.
Person is cold right off the bat, and there's nothing behind the eyes.
Dale says Zachary was the kind of kid who would try to fix a broken person, and that's probably why he stayed in the relationship. He says looking back, he missed the signs. Zachary was losing weight, stopped playing soccer, and quit coming to family gatherings. He wishes now he had reached out to his son to talk about those difficult male expectations of manhood.
As men, we have to stay strong, not show emotion.
As a father, Dale has lost a son. As a community, Gittinyao has lost a promising young citizen. As a clan leader within the Gittinyao Nation, Dale hopes his family's story can help other young Indigenous men learn to walk away from violent relationships, to reach out for help. 6 years later, he still talks to Zachary on Facebook.
So my messages to him is that I'm sorry, I love you, and I wish you were here. It's just...
Wamish Hamilton, CBC News, Gittinyao, BC.
And here's an important reminder, there is help for anyone who needs it. EndingViolenceCanada.org and ShelterSafe.ca both list crisis support, shelters, and sexual assault resources. When we come back, a North American first could soon open on the coast of Nova Scotia.
I can see it. I mean, I can feel those whales out there jumping in these waves.
The push for a new coastal sanctuary to give once captive whales a new and better life. Welcome back. For about 5 years, a team of researchers and scientists have been working towards setting up a whale sanctuary somewhere in North America. Well, now they've settled on where, a tiny community in Nova Scotia. They say it is the ideal location to rescue animals who've been held captive in marine parks. But as Kayla Hounsell explains, there are some concerns about how they'll pull this off.
There could be orcas and belugas jumping here in Port Hilford Bay by the spring of 2023. At least that's what Charles Vinnick is hoping.
So we looked at over 130 sites in British Columbia, Washington State, and here in Nova Scotia.
Because of its size, depth, and shelter from storms, he says this bay is perfect for his team's whale sanctuary project, a new home for whales that have been performing at marine parks.
Now it's still captivity. They'll be inside a netted environment.
Vinnick came here from California, traveled 250 kilometers east of Halifax, then 20 minutes down this dirt road. It's a bit off the beaten path, but ideal, says Vinnick, for whales that can't just be returned to the wild.
It's so much more high quality life with natural seawater, with critters on the bottom with which they can interact, with waves and nature that allow them to swim more than a couple of body lengths, to dive that they can never do in a tank. So it's giving them back some of what we as humans have taken from them.
There are still a lot of details to be worked out, and this welcome center is the only thing that's actually been built.
Now this is an artist rendering, but it is the plan for how the nets will encircle 100 acres of water space, more than 150 times larger than the largest performance tank anywhere in the world.
But Vinnick is determined. He's part of the team that freed the real whale in the Free Willy movies.
So that really informs a lot of the work that we're doing today.
It's a wonderful idea.
This UBC scientist supports the idea in principle, but has concerns about where the group will come up with the money to pull it off.
Is it realistic to think that you can keep this funded forever? How much do you need every year? And what's going to happen if that money doesn't come? When you care for a marine mammal, you're caring for a child. And that's a long-term commitment, and they're long-lived too.
Vinick says it will take around $15 million to get the project off the ground, plus $2 million a year to keep it going. He says the money will come entirely from private donations, and his group has raised $3 million.
Your passion for this is very clear. Is it feasible?
Why would it not be feasible? What it takes is people who have the commitment, who have the ability to find the resources, and have the staying power to make sure that commitment isn't momentary.
Nova Scotia's Department of Natural Resources confirms it has received a request to lease Crown lands, but says a lease has not been issued, and all of the appropriate reviews and assessments are still in progress. Vinick says it's slower than he'd like, but acknowledges nothing like this has ever been done anywhere in North America.
So it's a step-by-step process to identify what's unique about this project and how to apply the regulations that exist to something that's this unusual and unique.
Vinick also admits he doesn't have a commitment from any marine park to let their whales come here. 2.5 years ago, Canada passed a law to ban keeping whales and dolphins in captivity.
The fact that Canada made that commitment makes this an ideal country to be doing this in.
Canada's only captive orca, Kiska, lives at Marineland in Niagara Falls. The park was recently charged with allegedly using whales and dolphins for entertainment purposes. Marineland says it has no ideological objection to whales moving to the whale sanctuary project, but it has conducted a preliminary objective assessment of the project and finds it has no funding, no facilities, no on-site employees, and is proposing to operate in an environmentally toxic area. There were former gold mines on the site, but Vinick says any issues would be remediated before any whales are introduced.
I own all this property, all this side of the road here, right down to the water.
Locals are divided. Some who live in the immediate area are concerned about an increase in traffic. It won't be a tourist attraction, but there's nothing stopping people from coming to watch the whales.
We're not in favor of it because we just don't know how much it would affect our lives. We don't know.
In the nearby community of Sherbrooke, businesses have a different perspective.
It's quite an exciting thing to think about that they've picked this little part of the world.
Heather Leibold volunteers with a local museum.
Yes, the whales will be safe and secure in our lovely waters, tranquil, and not bothered or tormented. But it's the economic spin-off that we're all hoping for.
For Charles Vinick, it's a passion project.
I can see it. I mean, I can feel those whales out there jumping in these waves and being part of it.
But he insists his commitment isn't just emotional, and he has every intention of seeing the project through to help create a better life for captive marine mammals. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Port Hilford Bay, Nova Scotia.
Next, we ask, what is your best choice for a Christmas tree?
Big puffy ones and nice tall ones.
Tall and puffy.
Puffy and tall.
Okay, fair, but beyond how it looks, which is better for the environment, a real or fake tree? The answer right after the break. Welcome back. For many families who celebrate Christmas, the tree is just one of the most important traditions. But amidst a climate crisis, which option is actually greener, real or fake? Aaron Collins now with the answer.
Scouts have been selling Christmas trees in this Calgary lot for nearly 60 years.
We have people that have been coming here. It's their family tradition, and they come here every year for decades.
And what makes a great Christmas tree hasn't really changed much.
Big puffy ones and nice tall ones.
Tall and puffy.
Puffy and tall.
But in the midst of a climate crisis, there are some new considerations too. Like, is it still okay to use a real tree at all?
Absolutely. If you're replacing a fake tree every couple years because the lights go or it's starting to lose its bushiness, that's a cost to the environment right there.
So what is better for the environment? Real trees like these or an artificial one like this? This expert has crunched the numbers.
In most cases across Canada, I would say that a real tree has the edge. It's a little bit better for the environment.
Well, turns out a real Christmas tree can have a lower carbon footprint if it's grown responsibly and locally, unless
If you're going to go with an artificial tree, the trick is to hold on to it for at least that decade or 12 years or so in order to offset that footprint.
And what about that family trip to the bush to cut down your own Christmas tree?
Taking the occasional tree out here and there helps the forest. It manages the forest, lets the other trees get bigger and stronger.
So cutting down the right tree makes all the difference.
If we're looking at a grouping of trees like this, which one would make sense to harvest?
Here we have a little cluster of 3 trees. Ideally, you take 2 of those out. The third one has a great chance to grow and become strong. Social distancing for trees.
One final tip for a greener Christmas: if you do get a real tree when the holidays are over, make sure to recycle it. So if you're looking for a Christmas tree and to protect the environment this holiday season, heading out to a place like this and cutting down your own just might be your best bet. Aaron Collins, CBC News, west of Calgary.
That will be good. One of the joys of winter is participating in winter sports. And for newcomers, that can also help create community. Jason Warwick shows us how one Saskatoon speed skating club is welcoming them and putting inclusion and diversity front and center.
Adam, Suja, and Rihanna Al-Krassad head out onto the ice. It's their first season with Saskatoon's Lion Speed Skating Club. This ice, the winter coats, mitts, skates, all new experiences. Back in July, their family left their home in Jordan in the Middle East and moved to Saskatchewan. Their parents say speed skating has made the transition a lot easier.
The English is not our first language, and the sporting and skating is one of the tools that we use it to encourage them to speak English and know the people here.
The club is happy to have them.
It is so awesome seeing the family and the kids on the ice every week. They are having so much fun on the ice, and it's super cool seeing them learn how to skate.
This year, the club also welcomed new families from Asia, Africa, and South America. The club says that inclusion and diversity are top priorities. They say it will help boost club numbers, but it's also the right thing to do.
Everybody should be included everywhere. Everybody should be able to have a great time, and we're all better because of the inclusion.
This fall, the club tried out a new buddy system for parents. They helped each other with equipment, with the rules, and with rides. And thanks to a big donation from the estate of Johnny Sands, a former Olympic speed skater from Saskatoon, the club now has dozens of new pairs of skates for any recruits. There are plans for formal partnerships with newcomer and Indigenous groups.
And the people in the clubs and their and the coach, I want to say thank you because you support me and my family in everything.
A great way to get some exercise, learn English, and even make some friends in their new city. Jason Warwick, CBC News, Saskatoon.
Excellent. Next, a much-needed upgrade for a family of 10.
We feel our life just started today.
What this move-in day meant for them. That's our moment after the break. You are looking at the El Turek family in their brand new home in Dieppe, New Brunswick. It's a family of 10 who came to Canada 5 years ago as refugees after fleeing Syria for Lebanon. So now, thanks to Habitat for Humanity Moncton, they do have a new home to call their own, and that special moment is our moment.
This house means a lot. All the happiness, all memories, we're gonna build it together here, like as a one family. We feel our life just started today. We are like a family from Syria. We moved to Lebanon as a refugee in 2013 because of like the war that we have it in our country. 2016, the UN told us to move to Canada. We didn't know where, like which city, which province, we didn't know. So when we came to here, we end up in Moncton. It's so good city, beautiful. One of my friends told us about here, like this Habitat of Humanity.
We want to live together, and renting is expensive here. We decided all to live like to talk to Habitat community to help us build a house, stay together, and pay together.
Oh, they will gonna enjoy it a lot because now almost everybody will gonna have his own room. Especially for my older brother with his disability, he have like everything accessible for him now. Oh, feel excited, happy, great.
So mabruk to the El Turek family. So here's the deal, that was a vacant lot that was donated by Dieppe, and then basically they put 500 hours into it. Habitat for Humanity worked out a mortgage plan, and they are good to go. That is a national for December 21st. Good night.